Welcome into Texans Draft Live, day 2 of the 2022 NFL Draft. Round 1 is in the books. Hi, I'm DP Sidhu along with John Harris. We've rested a bit, we've recovered, and we're ready to go for day 2. We're going to hear from our day 1 picks in a little bit at 4 o'clock. They will be giving a live press conference in person here at NRG Stadium. We will bring you that press conference, and they will be on this program right afterwards to answer questions. Johnny and I will recap night 1. We'll look ahead to day 2, and we'll answer all of your fan questions. It's about to be a super, super busy show.
Absolutely. Day 2. This day 1's awesome. I mean, especially with the party last night at Miller Outdoor Theater. Wow. I mean, the energy was unbelievable last night. At some point right before radio, in between, we did a live show, then you and I moved up, did radio, and in between that and then going live for the draft, I went up on stage with Cecil Shorts, called me out, and I just looked out, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. It was kind of intimidating. And then the party went great, got such great rave reviews. And then the Texans walking out of there with 2, I think, game-changing players, impact players, on top of 3 additional day 3 picks. So there's more. And I should say, I'm going to stop saying that. Day 3 picks, day 2 picks. They're draft assets. Because
I like that, yeah.
There's no telling what Nick is going to do with them because they're assets to him until it becomes a selection. I'm going to call it an asset because that's what it is. Daryl Morey from the Rockets used to think the same way. He had assets. He didn't have picks. He had players. He had assets. The assets will turn into other draft assets or they will turn into future players. And last night, finally, he got 2 picks at 3 and 15. And Derek Stingley and Kenyon Green, can't wait for them to come in here.
Cannot wait to meet them. And you know what? You talk about Nick Caserio doing some wheeling and dealing. That started on night 1. Yeah. And let's take a look at night 1 and how the picks went down. Here are the Texans picks. They had Derek Stingley, Kenyon Green, and then they picked up some picks, Johnny, in rounds 2. They have rounds 2 and 3 are tonight, but then they picked up some extra picks with the trade with Philly so that they could move from 13 to 15. And there you have it. So we've got 3 picks today. And then, as our producer Tyler Marcotte says, 80,000 picks tomorrow remaining. We'll see. We'll see if those still stand after today.
And that's a great point because last year at this exact night, they had Davis Mills. They had 60 pick 67, which they took Davis Mills. And then there was a gap, and I'm trying to remember how far that gap was. But they weren't picking for a while, and then all of a sudden, boom, Nick packaged about 3 or 4 day 3 picks, sent them to Carolina, moved up back into the 3rd round and got Nico Collins. And so we were thinking, okay, Davis Mills. And there was one other pick. It was later, though, on day 3. They took that and moved all up and got Nico Collins. I think Nico's going to end up being a player for this team. So that was an excellent move. So when I saw those picks, 107, 108, which have been there, but then 124 and the 2 others they picked up, I'm thinking, maybe 80 isn't the end of it tonight. 37, 68, 80.
That'd be exciting.
Maybe they take those 3, maybe 107, 108, move back into the 3rd round to get another player, another day 2 player. To end up with 4 day 2 players today would be great. Either way, they're coming out of there with 3 players. That'll make 5 in the top 80. And if you're going to reset this roster like has been talked about so often, having elite talent, having top 80 talent, having top 15 talent, that is key to this. And that hopefully is what happens. And again, they were able to move back up in the 3rd round. That's 5 in the top 100 roughly, 6 in the top 100. Again, that's the best way to start a reset of this organization. So I felt like it started last year with the 5 guys they brought in. We talked to Brev and Garrett last night on the live show, which was awesome. And now they're replenishing with what they're doing today. But they're doing it with first-round picks in Kenyon and Derek Stingley.
Yeah, Derek Stingley. I mean, everyone talked about the draft starting at number 3 because everyone sort of knew what was going to happen with 1 and 2, and nobody really knew what the Texans were going to do at number 3. Johnny, your reaction to Derek Stingley at number 3. I mean, you were on the radio show last night doing Texans Draft Live. We were here and interviewing the picks. What was your reaction? I didn't get a chance to actually be there with you in that moment, even though we talked about it for hours and hours leading up to it.
It was a little different than Kenyon's. I'll give you that one in a second because that one was a little bit more surprising. The Stingley one, there were starting to be a little, I don't want to say little leaks, but we started kind of hearing the rumblings.
Yeah.
And so I had sort of prepared myself for it. I've said this all along, and I don't want to make this a comparison between Derek Stingley and Sauce Gardner. They're both really good football players, but a lot of people did it. I had Stingley ahead of Sauce the entire way. I said this in fact, Mark Vandermeer brought this up last night. I had forgotten about this. He said, I remember, Johnny, back in 2019. Now, 2019, we had an excellent football team. Great football team. We couldn't cover anybody. Our corners were struggling, and we were getting torched. I mean, the playoff game was a perfect example of that. Sometime during that 2019 season, I remember being in the studio with Mark, and I said, Mark, I'm watching Stingley. That guy can play for us right now. He just played Alabama on Saturday. He can play for us on Sunday. He's that good. We have to now wait for him. He's like, well, when's he got? I said, well, we got to wait for him. He's a true freshman. He goes, true freshman? He's a true freshman. We got to wait for him. Now, the next 2 years, we all know the story of there's COVID, and then there's a Liz Frank injury. This is one talented dude. And so I think a lot of people, because of the Stingley sauce thing, people were split about which one. Mm-hmm. To me, I had not been. I had been on Stingley the entire time, and I put it on wax. I had it in the Harris 100. Going into the 2021 season, I had Stingley as my number one overall prospect. Number one overall. Now, he didn't play, and so I had to, okay, I've got to probably back off of this, but I still think he's a top 5 talent as long as, A, he's healthy, B, he's available. I feel like it ends up being a great pick. Now, Kenyon was a little different story. We knew about the trade down. And now at Miller Outdoor Theater, it was a delay. It was a big delay. And so I get a text from our friend Einav Leibowitz. You, Einav, me, we're on a 3-person quote string.
Yeah, we are.
And every year that we've done the draft, you guys say, hey, can I have a draft quote? You put it in your draft story. Einav may make a graphic out of it and put it up on our social channels. And so they asked for a quote. So I got the Stingley one, boom, done. And I thought I had set it off, but then there was a text later. Anyways, I thought it maybe got lost in translation because Einav sends another text and she says, quote, please. And I'm like, I sent it. And she goes, no. And she goes, the pick is in. I was like, we haven't heard. Who is it? And she says, Kenyon Green.
That's how we found out.
And that's how I found out. And I just went, I mean, that was the one I had that reaction to. And it wasn't so much I was surprised about Kenyon going at 15. I think I had him at 27 in the Harris 100, somewhere around that range. And I kind of flirted with different spots with him throughout the year because he had moved from guard back to tackle back to guard. He kind of moved around a little bit, and it really wasn't fair in some sense that he was asked to play tackle because he's a true guard. So when he got back to guard, you could really see it. He's just, he moves people. He's physical. He's quick. The way he can pop and pull on power plays, his agility. He's been starting there from day one. And I think he's going to have to start for the Texans at day one. You expect pick number 15 and pick number 3, they need to be day one starters. They need to be coming here and be ready to go. And I think both of them are going to be there. But that's how I found out with Kenyon Green.
It was an exciting night.
Yeah, it was kind of wild to find out that way, but I'm glad he's here.
And we're going to hear from both of them in the press conference coming up at 4 o'clock. But first, let's take a look back at Derek Stingley, the draft call, in case you missed it. Take a look.
I'd say there's probably more consensus on this player than pretty much anybody that's up there.
Nice.
Well, it feels good about it.
Shut that corner.
We
Makes our
think he's
team
got a
better.
chance. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to find these guys don't grow on trees.
Right.
So, how are you, man? Good. You with your family here in the hotel there in Vegas? Okay, good. All right, listen, we're on the clock, and we're going to turn the pick in here in a few minutes. We're going to make you a Houston Texan. Look, you had a really good visit with us when you were here. We're excited to get you here. Excited to add you to our team. You're a good player. You've been a good player. You're going to help our team. All you need to do is just come in here, just work hard, do your job, nothing more, nothing less. All right? All right, here's Lovey.
Hey, Derek, excited, man? Hey, Derek, you fit in when you came through here, man. You were our guy, and there's a lot of happy people around here. We got a plan for you. How about going to the number 1 receiver every time? Sound good? Sound real good. Just welcome to our team. We're pretty pumped up. We're going to do a lot of good things, all right? All right, hey, Derek, I'd like for you to talk with our owner, Cal McNair, right now, all right? All right, here's Cal.
Hey, Derek, we're excited for you. We're putting your number in here in just a second. You're a Tiger, but now you're a Texan, man.
What an exciting night for the Texans. What an exciting night for Derek Stingley. And If you weren't already excited, seeing Lovie Smith say to him, hey, we're just going to put you on the number one receiver, what do you think about that? I mean, if that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will, but I cannot wait to see Derek Stingley suit up in a Texans uniform for 2022. I mean, that just gets you ready for the season.
Well, I know it goes back to 2019, but he's a true freshman. If you think back to that 2019 team in LSU, there's Joe Burrow, there's Clyde Edwards-Helaire, it's Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall, and Jamar Chase. And he's going against that trio every day in practice. And is an absolute dude. There's obviously practice footage that made its way that was viral video, all that kind of stuff. And he's just, I don't say locking up Jamar Chase, but the fact that he's going against arguably, I mean, you could make a case for Jamar Chase.
NFL-type talent, you know?
Well, not only that. Jamar Chase proved in year one that he's probably a top 3 receiver right now in the league. And as a true freshman, he's going toe-to-toe with him. And it's not as if he's playing this game of holding and grabbing and clutching. I mean, he's matching him step for step. If he's got to be physical, he's physical. I don't know that we've seen a corner like him since J.J. I mean, we haven't seen a corner like him since J.J. Like, J.J.'s feet and his football IQ were so good. We were lucky in 2011 to see it from that angle. Obviously, when we all were together, 18, 19 near the end of his career, his intellect took him so far. He obviously was not at the physical nature he was before. But when J.J. was in his prime, it's kind of what he reminds me of because his feet were so good. But where J.J. was just excellent, his ball skills, reading receivers' routes. I would love to see a guy like Jonathan Joseph, somebody that knows the game so well, be a confidant for Derek Stingley, that Derek can be like, hey man, I got this wide receiver I'm facing today. I'm facing Tyreek or I'm facing Devontae Adams, and JJ's got little tips and pointers. I mean, look, there's a great coaching staff here, but a guy like JJ, a guy that's played the position, a guy that wore that number 24.
So they both wore 24.
Like Andre Johnson has been for the receivers here.
Yeah.
When Andre retired, DeAndre Hopkins could always go. You could always talk to him. Andre's always talking to receivers, and being that sounding board as such. And maybe JJ is that for Derek Stingley, but what always stood out to me about Stingley were his feet. His feet were so good. And feet before hands. When you play the corner position, especially if you're playing cover 2, you've got to be a guy that you have to jam. You have to use your hands to jam and be physical. But if you do that first, you're done. If your feet aren't moving first, feet before hands, and my friend Eric Crocker talks about that a lot, and that's what Derek Stingley can be. Feet before hands, and I think it's going to make him great. All
right, we got Derek Stingley at number 3. Let's take a look at how some of the other picks in the first round shook out last night. Let's break down. We'll go 9. This is 9 through 16. Let's see if we can get back to 1 through 8. Okay,
we will
go through 9 through 16 is what my producer is telling me. So let's start with him, Ryan, a guy that could have been mocked to the Texans, Charles Cross out of Mississippi State. We saw a few wide receivers come off the board as well. Atlanta took Drake London earlier, and then there was a run on wide receivers, it seemed like, in this next batch, as well as some tackles. Johnny, what did you think about this next batch of picks?
Well, I think this 9 through 16, you've got four wide receivers there. I think Jahan Dotson went a little higher than I thought he would. I mean, I love Jahan Dotson. I was actually thinking 37 would be a spot for him. I had him down in the 30s in the Harris 100, only because he's 178 pounds at the combine. But I think he fits pretty well with the Commanders, gives Wentz another weapon. They can do a lot with Jahan Dotson. Slot fades. You use him on horizontal stuff. They've already got scary Terry McLaurin, so I think that makes for a good match with Dotson. Diami Brown's a vertical threat they drafted last year. But teams moving to get receivers. Mm-hmm. Saints moving to get Olave. The Lions moving up 20 spots with a division rival, the Vikings, to go get Jamison Williams. And then Washington moved down from 11. That was the trade that they made with the Saints. And then Washington ended up taking a receiver. So the one thing, and I mentioned this last night a couple times, about comparing positions. Well, the Saints and Commanders, those two fan bases are going to look at, well, we moved up to go get Olave. Washington moved down to get Dotson. If Dotson turns out to be a better player than Olave, man, the Commanders will have won that trade. Kyle Hamilton ended up going to the Ravens at 14. Really good pick. And then, of course, the big fella Jordan Davis going at 13, where the Texans were. And I talked about this on the radio show last night. At 13, there's Jordan Davis, there's Kyle Hamilton. You had all the interior linemen, including Kenyon Green. You had a lot of options at 13. So trade down, get some draft capital to go with it, which they got 3 day 3 picks, 3 day 3 assets. I still have to train myself to do that. Even though I said I would, I got to still train myself to do it.
It's a work in progress. By the way, 13 minutes until the press conference where we're going to hear from Derek Stingley and Kenyon Green live, and then they'll be in studio as well.
Yeah, we've never had to do that, have we?
What's that?
Like to hear from 2 draft picks.
2 draft picks on the same night. 2
first-round draft picks. I mean, last few years we haven't even talked to a draft pick.
Well, I think that's a big reason, Johnny. I mean, it's been since before the pandemic that the Texans had a first-round pick. Yeah. Titus in 2019, and this felt so much like the 2014 draft with the number 1 pick. This felt so exciting to get number 3 and number 13, and the Texans, they did gain 3 more picks from Philly because Philly, like you mentioned, wanted to move up and get Jordan Davis. And, Nick Caserio talked about it last night. Like, we have heard about this team wanting to run the ball and be able to run the ball well. How big is Kenyon Green as a part of that in getting that task accomplished? I know you watch a lot of A&M film as well as everything else, but Kenyon Green and the run game, what is that? How do you see those two working themselves out and the Texans really getting the ground game going?
Hand in glove, baby. I mean, that's
I
what
know he's a rookie, but
no,
he can step in immediately, right? And make an impact.
Now, look, you've got to understand the scheme and what you're doing and how you go about doing it and the verbiage. And they're going to be things that are different. It's going to make his adjustment time maybe not the easiest at all times because of that. But once he gets it down, I think he's going to end up being fine. The thing about it, and it's funny, you brought up 2014, and the first thing I thought of was, we were excited about Clowney. And then at the top of the second round, we took Xavier Su'a-Filo. And one of the things I think the staff did Xavier a disservice was everybody, I believe, knew that he was a guard. Mm-hmm. And they kept trying to move him guard, tackle, guard, tackle, guard, tackle. And I really think that didn't play well. But I think Kenyon, and I know, we talk about his offensive lineman. I know he's got tackle experience. But even Nick said last night, we think he's more a guard. Okay.
He did say that, yeah.
And go put him right there left guard and leave him alone.
What does this say about Titus Howard? Because Nick was asked about it. They're very evasive about it, but I feel like
and
this
still should be. And still should
they
be
still
at
should be,
this point. Because why do they have to tell anybody?
They don't have to tell anybody, but I'm thinking if you draft a guy that's a true guard who played most of his starts in the interior, then that sort of gives Titus a little bit more leeway to get to play at the tackle spot where he is the most
comfortable. Play him at the other guard. Let Titus and Kenyon Green destroy dudes in the middle.
That's another option.
I'm just saying that you have options. Now, down deep, my personal thought, Harris 100's personal thought, Titus should move out to right tackle. And you put Kenyon right next to Laramie, and you let him learn next to Laramie, and those 3 are going everywhere together. They're doing everything, and they're learning from one another. And JB's coming back at center, and you put Titus back out there where he's comfortable at tackle. I talked to Titus after the Chargers game. I think that was the one where he had to bump out to left tackle, the game the day after Christmas. And I saw him in the hallway, and I just kind of walked past him, and I said, kind of like riding a bike? And he goes, my highest grade of the year. And there's something to being comfortable. And I say that because we're about to talk to Kenyon Green, and I just talked about all the different things he's going to have to learn. Give him one position to learn. Now, he might be able to get them all. That's fine. But give him one position to learn. Left guard, right guard, whatever. Give him one position to learn. Master it. Where you master that position before you move anywhere else. Some other players, their best asset is the fact they can move around. Kenyon Green can move around, but I'd rather see him just get comfortable at guard. So we'll go from there. But I remember 2019. It was the summer. It was the COVID year of 2020. I did a film breakdown. A&M was taking on Mississippi State. And I'm watching, and of course I'm always watching for draft prospects, but I'm kind of watching A&M scheme, so I'm kind of breaking certain things down. I'm trying to do it like the detail show of Peyton Manning. I'm going, this play, that play, this play, that play. And so I get to a play, and Isaiah Spiller pops a run, and it's a really nice run. And then I run it back, and I'm like, wait a second. Watch Kenyon Green on this play. And, I mean, he pops around, he pulls, he knocks this dude like 3 yards downfield, pins him inside, run follows him for a touchdown. I'm like, wow. I'm like, this guy's going to be a player. And I thought about that. I'm like, that guy's now a Texan. I'm happy about that.
I am happy about that, too. And we're going to hear from Kenyon Green and Derek Stingley Jr. in about 9 minutes. We're going to bring you the press conference live here from NRG Stadium. Then they are both going to be here on this show. We'll be asking our questions as well. And you brought up Isaiah Spiller because a lot of running backs still on the board. In fact, all the running backs are still on the board.
All of them.
And I'm curious, Johnny, your thoughts now. The Texans, they've got 3 picks tonight. And I know we're going to look into day 2 a little bit more in detail. But high overarching thoughts about day 2, and where do you think the Texans are going to go with these first few picks? Do they go pass rusher? Do they go running back? Are there other positions of need? I mean, there's so many positions of need, but what's your gut tell you about tonight?
I've thought about it throughout. I mean, driving home last night, this morning, I mean, what could they do? Could they take a Breece Hall at 37? I think they've got to. So 3 picks tonight as it sits right now. Now, if they're able to get a fourth, 4 picks tonight. And I think of those, at least one has to be some kind of game-changing ball carrier. I don't care if it's running back,
tonight.
wide receiver, yes.
Okay.
One of those picks has got to be a game-changing ball carrier. You got to win in the trenches. You got to win in priority positions. Well, you went and got Kenyon Green. You got top-notch corner Derek Stingley. You've got to find some sort of ball-carrying weapon tonight. I don't care if you're wide receiver, running back. Somebody's got to have an elite asset. So is Breece Hall. He's got 4.37 speed. Kenneth Walker, the third from Michigan State, is just built like a truck, and he's just so good on and off the field. George Pickens is a curious one to me at Georgia. He's had some immature moments off the field early in his career. He tore his ACL. He came back from that and is a complete game changer at wide receiver, if you want to look at wide receiver. But I still think linebacker, Nakobe Dean's still on the board, which is a little bit shocking. He's a little shorter in everything. He's not as tall. He's shorter armed. But he was the alpha of the alphas at Georgia. There were 5 Bulldogs that went last night. He's a superstar. Everything about him, I think, would fit in this defense. So I think there are a lot of different ways they can go. I'll be really excited to see. 37 is going to be really fun.
All right. Well, no running backs got selected last night, but let's take a look at pick 17 through 24 last night. Who did get selected? Because we saw quite a few guys fall a little bit later in round 1. Some of these guys were mocked very, very early in the draft, and we saw them go 17 through 24 there. Johnny, your thoughts on Kenny Pickett being the only quarterback taken, and to the Steelers, who it seemed like they were leaning, or at least they were smoke screening, that they were interested in Malik Willis.
Yeah, down at Senior Bowl, everybody's talking about, hey, man, the Steelers like
it's a great smoke screen.
And, I mean, this guy's in the hall. He's the hallway down from them. Pitt's facility backs up to the Steelers.
Don't they work out in the same facility, different doors?
Yeah, and they were down there telling, yeah, we love Willis. And then they went and they got their guy, Kenny Pickett. The one to me, and this ties in Kenyon Green and 17. My last mock draft, I mocked at 17. I mocked Kenyon Green to the LA Chargers. And so I had a lot of fans coming up to me last night as they were walking out, and we were in a break, and they're like, hey, you think that was too high for Kenyon Green? I was like, nope. And I was like, hey, I mocked him to the Chargers, and they were all thinking maybe you could get him later. Well, trade back into the first round to get him. Well, the Chargers took a guard. You had Tyler Smith as a guard. He was going to go. He was going to be gone if the Texans decided to come back in the first round. So getting him at 15 was the right thing to do.
All right, let's take a look at 25 through 32. And also just want to remind you, 5 more minutes until the press conference here at NRG Stadium, where we're going to hear from Derek Stingley Jr. and Kenyon Green here live with the local media. So 25 through 32. I saw George Karlaftis. It's funny that
Purdue.
the Chiefs. I thought he was going to be the first Purdue Boilermaker taken in the top 10 since 1987, Rod Woodson, and he fell all the way to number 30. And then Jermaine Johnson from Florida State, a guy that I thought might go top 15 as well, Johnny. He slipped all the way to number 26.
I had pretty good grades on both of them. I think they're both going to be really good players. And again, sometimes it's fit and opportunity. George Karlaftis has an opportunity to be a day one starter in Kansas City. He has an opportunity, and they will love him there. Because Frank Clark, I don't know how much longer Frank Clark has got and what he's got left in the tank. And Karlaftis he literally could go in there and start day one and have an opportunity. Same with Jermaine Johnson. The Jets are building something in New York and New Jersey on that D-line in particular with John Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, Jermaine Johnson. They're going to be the Jets they're sneaky hot. I don't think it's this year. But, man, what Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh are building in New Jersey, it's something to keep an eye on. Jermaine Johnson was a steal. In fact, they came back into the bottom of the first round, like I was talking about earlier, and that was one of the options we talked about last night, trading back into the first round to go get an interior offensive lineman. But you weren't going to have Kenyon Green there. Mm-hmm. Now, there were some options, and obviously the Patriots took Cole Strange, so there was going to be a little mini run on an interior offensive lineman. You sort of kicked it off by taking Kenyon Green. So you got the best one of that group. I had Tyler Linderbaum ahead. I didn't expect Linderbaum to be a top 15 pick. So I figured Kenyon would be the first interior offensive lineman off the board.
Really? Okay.
And he was to the Texans at 15. I think that's going to be a guy that we have around here hopefully health permitting, for the next 10, 11 years. It's going to be awesome.
And we're going to hear from him as well as Derek Stingley in about 3 minutes or so. They are in the building. They're walking around with Lovie Smith. We'll have him here on the show as well. Ask him how this first 24 hours has been for them and what they hope to accomplish here as Houston Texans. But, Johnny, it's been an exciting day one so far with the 2 draft picks and then 11 remaining so far, if that stands. And I know you're going to be on with Sports Radio 610 tonight from 6 o'clock. Round 2 starts at 6 p.m.
Until question mark.
It'd be nice to get more picks in tonight's draft and, wrap up things early. I'm just going to put that out into the universe because we have so much draft assets, so much draft capital to work with now with 11 picks remaining.
Well, keeping with the Las Vegas theme, I mean, when you go to Las Vegas and you go to the blackjack tables and you got all the greens, but you're like, you know what, let me color up.
Why not?
Black.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's, take some of those green chips and bring in some of the black 100 chips. Maybe that's what you do. So instead of having 5 of those green ones, you color up. You'll get one of those $100 black chips. Maybe that's what you could do. That's just the first thing that came to mind, and because it's Las Vegas, I went with it.
All right. Looks like our newest Texans are now at the podium ready for their press conference. Derek Stingley Jr. and Kenyon Green here meeting with the media for the first time inside of NRG Stadium. Let's take a listen.
Being here this afternoon. It's an exciting opportunity, exciting time for, I would say, the organization, players, coaches. It's an important time for the players, and most importantly, it's a tremendous time for their families. And I think one of the things that you notice about Derek and Kenyon is, like, family's important. I come from great families, saw through their families, with their families last night. Kenyon's here right down the street with his family at home. Derek's in a hotel in Vegas with his family, but family is of the essence and family's a priority. And, we're trying to build a family here with the Houston Texans. And I would say these two players really embody everything that our program is about. Humble, hardworking, soft-spoken, just want to show up and do work, which is how we're trying to build the program. And I'd say that's what these 2 players are about. So I'm sure you'll enjoy speaking with them. We're excited that they're here. I think they understand what's in front of them. There's a lot of work that's ahead. I think they realize that, and I think the one thing about these 2 players in particular is they're going to show up, they're going to work, and we're going to get the best version of themselves on a day-to-day basis, and that's all we're going to ask. So, the floor is yours, so you guys have fun. Less is more, and we'll catch up with you guys later.
I'm going to moderate. We'll just go down. We'll start with Christy. And we'll go.
There's no mic. Derek, if you were to describe to people that maybe didn't know you as a player or didn't know a lot about you, what do you think is the best thing about you as a player?
I'd probably say that I'm just calm. I don't let my emotions get too high, too low. I know in certain areas, whenever I mess up, I know how to diagnose it and talk it through with my coaches and fix it real fast.
Derek, you come from a family of athletes, your grandfather, your father. How have they prepared you from a young age, and how have you yourself, grow into this moment along the way?
So really just it's a mental battle with everything that you do. So if you can tell yourself that you're able to do it, then you'll be able to go out there and do it.
Your first meeting with Lovie Smith, what was that like, and what did you take away from what playing in this defense?
It was good. He showed a lot of interest. We had some small words about how it would be, but that's between me and him. I'm excited to show it once we get to the season. And I just can't wait to work.
Derek, your injuries are well documented. Sometimes injuries can camouflage or cover up a guy's talent. What does it mean the Texans saw beyond what you dealt with the last couple of years and saw what they believe you really can be? What does that mean to you and the trust it gives you with them?
It means a lot because they saw my true talent beyond everything else. So whenever you're surrounded by people that know your true worth, it just makes you feel better as a person.
Greg,
I do, if I could, for each of you. Could you just take us through how you kind of managed last night? The excitement, obviously. Did you get any sleep? Did you spend the night just up with family talking? Could you each just kind of share what that experience was like?
Well, I was at home, so I'm probably I'd say 30, 45 minutes away from the stadium. And, I was just sitting there and I was talking to a family friend about the draft and how it's unfolding and everything. And when I got the 832 area code, I already know, it was the Texans. And sat there, I was shocked. I was just truly just thanking God, for this opportunity, being here, being able to, stay home and play for my city. So I'm gonna give everything I got. I'm gonna be the best player, best person, you can ever, meet, talk to.
And how about afterwards? Just sit around and share the
Yeah, we rewatched the draft because after I got picked, kind of turned it off and celebrated. But just going through that moment again, seeing it, seeing my family, enjoying it. So that's all I cared about.
Derek, any sleep for you after all this happened?
I mean, it was a long flight, but we're here. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to get to work.
Aaron. Derek, to follow up on Sarah's question, what kind of advice has your family and some of their experiences in football, what has that meant to you? Any specific things that kind of jump out that you've kind of taken with you and resonate with you?
So something else that I've always been told is to just have fun with everything that you do. So if you can find the fun in anything, even the tough situations, then you'll be good and you'll be able to make it through.
For Kenyon, having been able to play football your entire life, right in this area, College Station, Tuscaloosa, and now with the Texans, what does that feel like for you? And is it something besides obviously the familiarity? How do you think that can help you?
I'm already, my blood, sweat, and tears, been here, 21 years almost. I mean, it's really nothing else to say. I'm here, I'm ready to go. So, whatever that takes, whatever we need to do that, I'm willing and ready.
Cool. This is for both Derek and Kenyon. Both you guys were 3-year starters in the SEC, gone up against talent that some people consider as a semi-pro type of the NFL. Do you feel like having that experience of going up against those type of players maybe it's better prepared you for some of the time you're going to see very early on in camp?
Nah, for sure. I feel like SEC, you got to be prepared and ready each and every week because you're going against somebody that's, on your same level or even higher. So, you got to match it and, make sure that, you focus locked in, like mentally and physically.
And I also think that even in practice every single day, with the schools that we went to, we had to be ready for that. Not just weekends, every day. So, yeah.
Randy, just follow up with Derek, just more on Lovie getting a chance to play for him and a defensive-minded coach. It's going to be a big part of his defense. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I know that he'll maximize our abilities out there on the field, put us in positions to win. So I'm excited for that.
Brian, Derek, I know you discussed some of this when you were at LSU, but just the impact that the situation your grandfather went through, which obviously, how did that impact you? How do you learn from that? How does that kind of just shape you? It obviously happened a long time ago, but I'm sure that's something within your family and with you specifically that can, help guide you through your life.
Well, for me, whenever I'm out there playing, like I don't, you don't want to play thinking about injuries or playing scared because then, something might happen if you're out there like that. So really, I just go out there and just play, have fun, like I said, and just do what I do.
You grew up here. You talk about the blood, sweat, and tears here in H-Town. Can you share some of your early memories? Do you remember some of the Texans games? Do you remember kind of, riding the roller coaster with this franchise?
Yeah. Well, I played here multiple times in high school for playoff games, and I got a good record in here. So I want to keep that going. So what we got to do that, I'm ready to do that.
When you did see the 832 on the phone, what were those immediate emotions?
I'm staying home. I'm staying home. Yeah.
Sarge. So Pete said how to pronounce it. Is it Kenyon or Kenyon?
Kenyon.
Kenyon. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you
Yeah.
set that up.
but you won the 2018 Touchdown Club Offensive Player of the Year as an offensive lineman, going up against some of the people that even went to school at A&M. At that moment, did you know that your path was headed towards where you are right now?
Well, nah, I mean, I didn't look, too far into it. I was making sure that I was ready for the next level. I wasn't trying to, get my mind, off track on things. So I was worried about that first year, as my freshman year, coming in, contributing, being a team player, work as hard as I can, to build on that. And, and eventually it got better, and, I'm here now, blessed, being able to, talk to y'all and do those things like that.
And Derek, what did it feel like doing it? As soon as you stepped on campus, you were highly regarded as one of the best defensive backs in the nation, and then going up against the players that you went up against. What was that like every day?
Really, I didn't think about the outside view on how I didn't think about the outside perception on me. I just knew that I would have to just go out there and practice every day and just do what they recruited me to do.
Go Daniel and then Jim.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. One thing is to come in and meet with the team before the draft. Another thing is to walk up to the building knowing that they picked you. Like, what for each of you, Derek, to start, what's going through your mind right now? I mean, you're here. This is reality. You dream about this. What's going through your mind right now?
I'm just ready to get to work. That's it.
And me and Derek was talking about it walking in, saying we, after they pick you, you say, whatever team you go to, but, we saying we, like what we need, what we need to do for this team to get better. So, just, changing your mind frame on that, it's a blessing, being able to, do this and be a part of this. It's just the beginning. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is, but, it humbles you too, because you still have a lot of work to do. This is just the beginning. They gave you the opportunity, so now you got to put your head down and work.
I've got two for you guys. First one kind of silly, but when you talked about saying the 832, do players memorize area codes before the draft, so when that phone rings, they kind of have an idea of who it is?
I mean, I know it because I'm Houston, but it's just certain places some places you have connections with, you probably know the area code of it, and I for sure knew that one.
What about you, Derek?
Well, underneath the number it says the place, so that's what I was looking at.
And then on a serious note, Nick talked a lot last night about both of your competitiveness, the competitive nature of both of you. It's been some lean years here the last couple of years. How much do both of you as players relish the opportunity to try and turn things around here, and why?
You got it.
Me going to A&M, wasn't a big school yet, like how it is now. So all we did was in that class we put our head down and work. And we right now, they're on the building stages of being a powerhouse, in the SEC. So I'm coming with the same mentality, put my head down and work, and then bring people with me.
Can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, just how much do you relish the opportunity to try and turn things around here, and why?
Well, yeah, that's something that, like, changing things around here. That's something that takes the whole group, the whole team, coaching staff, everybody. So I'm looking forward to building up like a team chemistry, seeing how things flow, learning from all the vets and even the people who got it last year. They know more than what we know at this point. Right. So any chance to learn from anybody to build that team chemistry, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Hey, Kenyon, you posted one of, not the highest run blocking grade of this draft class. What is it about your game that keeping those guys in the trenches?
Technique. You focus on the little detail things in your game, especially, watching film as a lineman. You can pick little things that, defensive linemen, linebackers do, to get an edge on them. And when you get that edge, you exploit it and you do your job.
When you're drafted is a lifetime dream. This is for both of you guys. But do you remember the first moment you thought, I want to play in the NFL, or that you told someone or wrote it down? Do either of y'all remember that?
I say, you have it when you're little, but when I realized I can like actually play this, this game, and make, a living off of it, it was probably my high school, my senior year in high school, when I went to the opening and the Under Armour camp, and seeing that road that other players took to get there, that played in those type of games. So I'm there, so I just have to keep the right mindset, and I'm glad I did. I'm here right now.
Well, yeah, it's pretty much the same for me. So as a little kid, you had those big dreams, and then it was a certain point, kind of like near in high school, that I was like, okay, I can really do this. So then that's when it really set in, really started working for real.
Kenyon, you mentioned walking in and being a part of the team rebuilding, and last night you mentioned that Lovie Smith had talked to you and said, y'all were both from Texas, and he said that hit you. In what ways does that contribute to you being a part of the team and helping that team get back to where it could be?
Yeah, just seeing, his pedigree, what he wants in his players, what this organization wants in their players, and I feel like I met that, and we had conversations when I came on a visit here, that the possibilities, things that we could do here. So, I'm ready to work, and get there and get to that point, because I can see it in the future for sure.
Do either of you know what number you're going to wear? Even better on that?
Well, I talked to Coach about it, so hopefully I can get it.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the same number if nobody have it, but yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, probably upgrade it a little bit now.
His family, it's your family, both your parents being college athletes. How much did that help you and instill what it takes to be a winning athlete?
Oh yeah, for sure. My dad coached me since I was a kid, so just him installing the game into me, and just taking that time and that care, just being my coach throughout those years, really grateful, to have him, be able to, talk to him about the game. My mom, she's more academics. Yeah, she was she played volleyball, but she was more academic, so I had to make sure them grades was right, or it wouldn't be good at the house.
Kenyon, Jimbo said last night you're one of the all-time greats he's ever coached. More importantly, one of the best human beings he's ever coached. How does that hit you when you hear that coming from Jimbo?
That hits home right there. That's great. To hear that from your head coach. He sees you. When you're down, when you're up. So I appreciate that, and I'm grateful. To have him as my coach.
What was it like watching the emotions of your family last night?
Exciting. Seeing all the hard work they put into me. All those years. Seeing the tears of joy. Just the excitement. I was happy. Seeing that. It made me want to just get out there and work out. Really. I was sitting there just shaking, like ready to go.
We've got time for two or three more. Cole?
Kenyon, at your pro day, Jimbo said that he believes that you can be an all-pro guard with potential being tackle, and that you could be a part of the class that joins the 4 other first-round offensive tackles who went from Texas A&M. What does it mean to be able to join that group of people and maybe starting a new tradition of being the first-rounder in this new era?
Yeah, it was crazy because on my recruiting visits and everything, it's like we have a plaque like boards, and it has like the first round on there, and my dad made me take a picture in front of it when I was a recruit there, so I can finally say I'm on that board now.
Adam?
Derek, you talked about you didn't worry about the outside perception when you were
words we use about you as a prodigy. I read that you had like pass routes on your bedroom wall. The last 2 years when you weren't able to play for various reasons, and others had doubts outside. What was it like for you emotionally, knowing what your dream was and what the track was, but what you were able to?
Well, me personally, I knew where I was at on the field and off the field. Still felt like I was still at that level, but that's out of my control. So there's no point in me trying to worry about that. Worry about what other people think, because people gonna always have something to say. I mean, if you look at any great ever, there's always two sides to it, and people are debating about it. So, I mean, I don't worry about it. So.
Titus Howard, who was the last first-round draft pick here in 2019, put out on social media last night that he welcomed you all, ready for you all to join the team. What does that mean to you, and has anybody else reached out to you all?
Yeah, for sure. Laramie Tunsil, he reached out to me, just congratulating me and telling me, be ready to work. I texted him back. My phone was froze for like an hour or so. So like I had to wait a little bit, text him back. But yeah, I can see the brotherhood here already. Embracing us in. Already. Having even met him yet. So so I feel like this team gonna have good vibes. Have the right mindset. The build. And get this organization, back to where it was and even better.
Oh, sorry.
Well, I mean, just like he said, I can already feel like this is a good place to be in. But I mean, I haven't really checked my phone to see who all in the text. But I mean, when I'm going back and looking through it, I'm sure there'll be some players in there. Yeah, I mean, it's not too far. It's not too close. So it's good. It's good. I'm glad I'm here.
We'll do the last one for Brooks, and then we'll take pictures.
First game, you said your phone froze. So, lots of stuff was coming in.
Yeah, like my Instagram froze. I couldn't text nobody. Like I put my phone down and just enjoyed the moment after that. Like I couldn't even do anything on my phone.
So I guess a question for you about this, as the last day has gone through. I mean, what are the moments that, whatever's happened the past 24 hours, that help you realize the moment that's ahead, how y'all are expected to contribute? And y'all zoomed a little bit with some of the people at Miller Outdoor last night. So what were some of the things that hit you?
Like just talking to the staff and everything on the phone, just hearing it in their voice, how excited and they mean business. And I'm coming here, this is business. This is a job. I'm gonna take this, with everything I have.
Can you restate that in a different way?
What, in the last day, stuck out to you that shows you how much expectation there is for you coming here?
Oh well, yeah, just like he said, it's a business. So just got to come here and work.
All right, thanks, guys. We're going to take a couple of photos with jerseys real quick. Take these off the stage.
Welcome into Texans Draft Live. You just heard from the Texans' first-round draft picks, Derek Stingley Jr. as well as Kenyon Green. They are taking pictures now after their press conference, their introductory press conference with the local media here at NRG Stadium upstairs in the press box. Their first 24 hours as Houston Texans underway, and they will be joining us here in the studio in just a few moments. We'll be talking to them one-on-one, trying to find out what's been going on with them since they found out that they were drafted by the Houston Texans. A few notes from the press conference. They both talked about just the feeling of being drafted as Houston Texans. Derek Stingley, he talked about how he was excited that the Texans really saw the true talent in him. They overlooked his injury history, and he's ready to get to work. Kenyon Green, same thing. Gave a lot of praise to Jimbo Fisher for his career and where he is today. We'll be asking him about that as well, because Nick Caserio did talk last night with the local media and about Jimbo Fisher and how much he really appreciates that program. And he has said several times that the Texans will be at those pro days, and there will be a pipeline probably coming from A&M. So will there be more Texas Aggies drafted tonight, tomorrow, in the next day to 2 days? We shall find out. But for now, Kenyon Green and Derek Stingley Jr., the newest Texans. A funny moment, they were asked about the area codes on their phone when they pop up. Do they know who's calling them? Do they memorize the area codes? And Derek Stingley said, you see the area code, but you also see the city underneath. So that's a burning question, I guess, the media had. But for Kenyon Green, he said he knew when he saw that 832 area code, he knew it was Houston. He knew it was home. He knew that he would be staying here. He's from Humble. He was celebrating with his family last night, and he was excited. Both of them are very excited to get to work. Kenyon, I believe, said he likes that everything is we the Texans. He said it's very exciting. It's also very humbling because there's a lot of work to be done, a lot that they want to get to, and as they get things accomplished on the field and as they get acclimated to becoming Houston Texans. So the Texans are picking 3 more picks tonight if nothing else changes, which we shall see about that. Tonight's picks in round 2, number 37. In round 3, picks 68 and 80. And then you see the rest of the picks for day 3, 3 fourth-round picks, and 3 fifth-round picks, a couple of 6th-round picks. We'll see if those stand. The Texans picked up 3 extra picks from the Eagles in last night's trade when they moved from number 13 to number 15. And we've got Derek Stingley and Kenyon Green on their way downstairs. We'll be talking with them shortly and finding out more about their first 24 hours. But there's a look at the rest of the Texans NFL draft picks for this 2022 draft. As it stands, they've got 11 picks remaining. And last year they finished the draft with just 5 draft picks. So quite a few picks for the Texans, a lot of draft capital, a lot of draft assets they could add in the next 2 days. But Nick Caserio said he's not going to shy away from trades if it feels right and the situation is right. In fact, he said even last night there was an opportunity to move from number 15 to number 20, but they felt like the player that they wanted, which was Kenyon Green, they really wanted to stay at 15. They liked where they were at. So we've got the 2 newest Texans, Derek Stingley and Kenyon Green, on their way downstairs. We just heard from them upstairs, their live press conference, which we brought to you here on Texans Draft Live. So we will continue to have more coverage of them. And John Harris will be back a little bit later. We're going to preview day 2 of the draft as well as get into the best available picks. So you don't want to miss that, because who will the Texans take? They've got 3 picks tonight. Will there be more? No surprises here, because Nick Caserio certainly likes to trade and wheel and deal in the draft. So it'll be must-see TV, and that gets underway tonight at 6 p.m. on Sports Radio 610, as well as NFL Network, ABC, ESPN. But we are still recapping day 1 with the newest Texans, Derek Stingley and Kenyon Green, who are on their way into the studio. And we showed you a little bit earlier Derek Stingley's call with the Texans. Let's bring to you now Kenyon Green's call with the Texans and what his reaction was when he found out that the Texans were taking him with the number 15 overall pick.
Kenyon, Nick Caserio. Great. Where are you? You're at home. All right, that's a good spot. Yeah, you're down here. All right, we're on the clock, and we're gonna turn the pick in. We're gonna make you a Houston Texan. Look, you've been a good player at A&M. You're a good, solid kid. You had a good visit when you were here. Just come in here, work hard, be the low-key, humble, hard-working kid that you are, and you're going to get good coaching. We're going to make you a better player, and you're going to help our football team. Coach Lovey's right here, so we'll look forward to catching up with you. All right, thanks.
Kenyon, you get a chance to stay home, man. Pumped up? Great, everybody around here. Coach Hamilton, all right, Coach George, everybody's excited. We've got a plan for you. Can't wait to get you here, all right? Is that your family here in the background? Awesome, man. Awesome. All right, our owner. Yes, exactly. Calvin Guerrero. Yes. Put him on the phone right now, okay?
We're glad to have you. All right. Well, we look forward to seeing you hopefully tomorrow. Okay, man?
Houston has submitted its pick.
All right, congratulations. Enjoy tonight.
That's Cal McNair
Kenyon
on the phone with
Nicoserio.
Kenyon Green, and we've got Kenyon Green and Derek Stingley live. Kenyon, when you watch that call, does it feel surreal? Has it sunk in yet for either of you that you guys are now Houston Texans?
A little bit, being here, doing all the interviews and meeting Coach Lovey, and everybody. So it's a blessing, exciting.
How about for you, Derek? I mean, we haven't even hit 24 hours yet. It's probably been a whirlwind for you. I mean, Kenyon's just coming from up the road, but you actually flew in from Las Vegas, correct? Mm-hmm. All right. So how is it hitting you now, seeing Houston for the first time as a Texan?
Yeah. So being here within the facility, it's starting to hit a little bit now. So, but it's nice though. It's nice.
All right, so what have you guys done so far? I know you have not spent a lot of time in the facility, but you just did your press conference with the local media. They asked you a ton of questions. You guys were up there for probably, close to 30 minutes or so. What did you do before that? You met the coaches. What have you seen around here in the building?
Coach Lovey, we was talking to him for a good minute. Then we was in the cafe area.
Yeah, the cafeteria.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive. Yeah.
And then we went from there to the media with them. So.
All right, and then after this, I think you guys are going to do a tour, see the locker room. Have you not seen the locker room yet, or any of the rest of it? You guys have just sort of hit the ground running, right?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right, so you were asked about it in the press conference, and last night at the Miller Outdoor Theater, I spoke with both of you, but Derek, you got a lot of cheers when you had one quote. You said, "There are no 50-50 balls. I feel like the ball's out there, it's mine." And you got a lot of cheers from Texans fans. They really seem to like that. When did that thinking sort of come about for you when you sort of approached the game in that way?
Well, that's something that's been in my mind since a little kid. I mean, I've always really when I see the ball in the air, it's like I don't see nothing else but the football, and I just believe that I can just grab it out the air before anyone else does.
That's pretty simple. It's pretty simple. And you said you feel really good that the Texans were able to see your true talent, because you have had a couple of rough years here, and Nick Caserio talked about it last night, but they really felt like it was a consensus. You were the guy that they wanted at number 3. That's got to feel good for you, especially throughout this draft process, because you weren't really able to do a lot until your pro day, correct?
Right. So, yeah, I was very glad that they were able to see really my talent level and really get to know me as a person off the field too. So whenever I took my visit here, that went really well too. So.
It obviously went really well for the both of you. And Kenyon, Nick Caserio said had a lot of praise for you last night, saying you're a lunch pail guy, blue collar guy, humble, quiet, ready to get to work. And he really praised Jimbo Fisher for the program that he runs in College Station. What has a guy like Jimbo Fisher meant to you in your career?
He means a lot. The organization program that he ran, he ran it almost, to a way that's a pro style, type of thing. So, you come in and you be ready to work. We're going to be here and we're going to make sure that you know what you're doing. You're going to go and compete. And that's what we did. We went and compete and, changed the narrative of, Texas A&M. So, it was cool, doing that and building on that. But, having a coach like that really helps you, for the next level.
You were his first 5-star recruit, correct, as a head coach at Texas A&M, or at least that's what I read.
Yeah. Me and DeMarvin. Yeah.
All right. So then you were asked to do quite a bit for that A&M O-line. You moved around all over. Is that sort of what you expected when you signed on to the program? How do you think that really helped you develop as an offensive lineman?
Well, I expected, just play one position, but my versatility, I showed them that, I can do that. And it kind of helped my game, learning the offense better, learning defenses better, seeing different, safety rotations, blitzes, seeing it coming. So it kind of helped me, just get a better grasp of the game.
All right. So what about the run game? Because the Texans have talked about they want to get this run game off the ground. You as an interior, perhaps exterior offensive lineman, that's something that you can help out with. What are your thoughts on that, the importance of your job as it pertains to the run game?
Oh, yeah. You can run the ball. You can control the game. So, we're going to get in there, we're going to get dirty. We're going to get in there, root some people out of there, and run the ball, have a great, run scheme, and go from there.
All right, I've got a couple of fan questions for you if you guys don't mind answering them. We've got Julie watching. Julie says, Derek, how has your family's experience in football helped you prepare for life in the NFL?
So, growing up, I would always get told like certain gems as far as like having fun with everything. Everything is a mind battle. So, I feel like getting those type of talks and getting that type of wisdom from a young age, it's really helped me translate from high school to college and now college to this level. So, yeah, I think those gems growing up.
All right, how about Taylor wants to know, this is probably for both of you, what does it mean to y'all to know there will be LSU and Texas A&M fans here in Houston rooting for you? Those are two really big fan bases, I will have you know, and you guys probably know this as well.
Yeah,
they
for
travel
sure.
well, but they're really big here in Houston. So what does that mean to you knowing that your college fan base gets to watch your games as NFL players?
Shoot, I mean, we can pack out the stadium. That's all I'm thinking of, packing out the stadium. Two SEC fans, coming together, for, the Houston
To
Texans.
cheer for actually the same team,
Yeah.
which will be unusual for LSU and A&M.
Yeah.
You mentioned last night to me you've played in NRG Stadium before. What was your big game, your big moments? Did you play in A&M here at NRG, or was it
I
before
played
then?
both in high school and at A&M. A&M, we played our Texas Bowl here against Oklahoma State. And one of my biggest games here in high school, when we played North Shore in the regional semifinals, it was like the fourth round, and we won it off a field goal, and everybody rushed the field, so it was kind of cool.
So you got some pretty good memories of NRG Stadium.
Yeah, for sure. I got a good record here, so trying to
Okay, let's keep
going.
it. Yeah, let's keep that going. All right, Justin's got a great question for Kenyon. What is your favorite Houston restaurant?
Ooh, that's hard. You got
That is a hard question, actually. Houston's got a great food
Yeah,
scene.
you
You
got-
will find out, Derek.
Yeah, you got Joey, you got Lotus, you got different. What else? Timmy Chan's. You have crazy amount of food, so you can really close your eyes and pick. And you gonna find a good spot regardless.
All right, Alex wants to know, Kenyon, do you think playing in the SEC has helped you gain an advantage in preparing for NFL-level talent? I guess this really could go for both of you, Derek. You talked about it a little bit earlier in the press conference. What is that like for you guys going against SEC talent and how that translates into going against NFL talent?
Oh yeah, that helped us. It helped me a lot. Just seeing different types of players and different speeds, different powers. And my freshman year going against Derek Brown, different players like that. That was top pick. So yeah, I went against some dogs. So I'm being able to get better from that and build my talent off that. So that's been a big help for me.
All right, how about for you, Derek? Because I know we've seen video of you and Jamar Chase battling out in practice, and now we've seen what he's done in the NFL. But what about going against that top-level talent? And Nick Caserio talked about it, how they can really judge a player by some of the talent they go against in college. But as a player, how does that really help you develop and prepare for the NFL?
Well, whenever you have that type of elite play in practice, so that year, my freshman year, that was Jamar Chase, but there was also Justin Jefferson, Terrace Marshall, Racing McMath, like all these guys that were just elite, and they all had their own set of skills that were different from each other. So, whenever you're able to go against that in practice, it helps you round off your talent every day. So, yeah.
All right, well, we're looking forward to seeing what you guys can do here as Houston Texans. Welcome again to the Houston Texans. I'm going to let you guys go because you guys got a lot of tours to see. You only have just begun. If you've only seen the cafe, you've got lots more to see. But congratulations once again, and welcome to the Texans. And let's take a look at rounds 2 and 3 that take place tonight. Your picks that are remaining for the Houston Texans as we get this show rolling. We've got more fan questions coming your way. And special thanks to Derek Stingley Jr. and Kenyon Green, the newest Texans drafted in round 1 last night. And cannot wait to hear from them more and see them out on the field as they make their way throughout NRG Stadium. So you'll be seeing them out and about in the town. And we're going to bring John Harris back here in a minute. You can see the picks tonight. We got 3 more players. Who will they be? I wanted to ask Kenyon Green about Isaiah Spiller and where he thinks he might land, because I know John Harris has got some Aggies on his remaining list of players, best available for the Texans. They're going to get underway here in about an hour and a half, about 90 minutes or so. And John Harris, welcome back to the show, Johnny.
Made it back.
You made it back. You ran back. And I didn't get a chance to ask Kenyon Green about Isaiah Spiller and where he thinks he might go. I didn't get a chance to ask about their teammates, their predictions where they might go. Do you have any insight on any more LSU or A&M players where they might go?
I thought LSU had a linebacker that would have been very interesting, Damone Clark. We're number 18 this year, which you were 7 or 18 at LSU, you're a pretty bad dude. And obviously Derek wore number 7 his last couple of years there. But
I should have asked him
Damone
about
Clark
that too,
is one heck of a linebacker, but he had, I believe, it was a spinal surgery, and so teams have sort of backed off, kind of anything spinal, neck, back, anything. Whoa, okay, we gotta let this one play out a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see if a team looks at Damone Clark, what they think. I think he's a whale of a linebacker when he's fully healthy. So that would be one guy from LSU, Cordell Flott, corner, can play inside. He looks thin as a rail, but he could play at LSU. A&M, Isaiah Spiller, that's the one. He's the one to keep an eye on. When you see him, you're like, you're Isaiah Spiller? He's got the babiest of baby faces. And you're like, you're Isaiah Spiller? Because like with the helmet on, he's just a killer. I mean, he is fantastic. I go back to that 2020 game.
Spiller? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
2020 game against Florida, COVID year, and Spiller took it over the second half. And he did it behind the Maroon Goons, which Kenyon was a part of at left guard. It was a very experienced group. And then obviously high-level talent there with Kenyon Green. And Spiller just went crazy that day. Second half, he just went nuts. And Florida couldn't tackle him, just could not tackle him. And he took over the game, and he really took over the rest of the year. So when he came back in 2021, Kenyon's buddies all left in the offensive line. There was a lot of young guys. And so Spiller had to kind of find his way through there. But there were some games in which A&M's offense couldn't do anything. Arkansas, a great example of that. I went through that chart every single play of that game, and I'm like, oh, my gosh, this is just not good. But Spiller was the saving grace. And so I think Spiller is getting lost in this running back thing. It's Breece Hall, it's Kenneth Walker. And I like the fact that there were a few nuggets out there about, hey, keep an eye on Isaiah Spiller being a day 2 guy. Or not a day 2, a round 2 guy. And I think he's there. I think I've got him about in the 60s, kind of the bottom of the second round, but I could see him going to the 50s. Getting in the right situation, I think Isaiah Spiller, he this year, even though he didn't have the line he had Kenyon, but he didn't have much else. He had a bunch of young dudes. They're going to be good, could be very good, but they weren't there. But, man, you can just see with Spiller at 6'1", 215 pounds, very agile, quick, good vision, excellent vision to see where his cut needs to be, and tough. Very tough. I mean, Houston tough. So be really interested to see Spiller. And he mentioned Marvin Leal, too.
Yes.
Very intriguing. Number 68 with the
First
Texans.
2 top
could be a
5-star
spot.
recruits by Jimbo Fisher. Let's take a look at Johnny's best available, because I feel like there was a guy at the draft. There was a guy at the draft party checking off players as they got selected off of Johnny's Harris 100. And I think you should have this list, sir, and ma'ams, and all of you out there watching tonight, of Johnny's best available. You got Malik Willis atop the chart. A little bit of a surprise he didn't go in round 1, but
yeah, I think I may have that order. That's my bad. I think I have Nakobe Dean ahead of Malik Willis, but
okay.
Either way, those are the guys.
It is
right
out of
there.
order. You are correct.
Yeah.
Yes, but these are in no particular order.
Yeah, there you go.
Best available, because there's a few guys I'm sure that you'd want to add to this list as well. But who are some picks that you think the Texans might target here?
If you look at this list, and let's just visually take your quarterbacks out of there, just with your eyes, just
eyeball them out.
Imagine there are no quarterbacks on the list. I just don't think quarterback is the way to go. I think with Davis and the way Davis is going, just let him progress. And if it just doesn't click in 2022, there's quarterbacks that I think are at a higher level than these guys coming in 2023. Nakobe Dean, could I see him playing linebacker in his defense, playing the mic and doing the things he can do? Heck yeah. Could he play the will? Yeah. He is a mechanical engineering major.
Mechanical engineering major?
Civil engineering.
Electrical engineering.
Mechanical
engineering.
Who do we want at 37?
We want a mechanical engineer.
But
Johnny, are we worried about injury history? I know he had the torn pec right here, preparing for the draft process. He's had a little bit. I mean, he has a lot of soft tissue injury. Well, is that something that the Texans should worry about or look at?
Yes and no. It is something to be worried about. I mean, a guy being injured. I mean, that's a jobbo. That's Andrew Booth.
Achilles, but that was same
those
thing.
Two guys, those two guys are dealing with injuries, and they've not been able to go through the draft process. They're going to come back and play. And obviously, we've seen players that have gone through that and haven't been able to work out up until training camp. They come to training camp and, yeah, it's all good. Everybody's fine. Ajabo might take a little bit longer because it was a little bit later when he got hurt with that. But I could take any of those guys. Yes. Ajabo's the one that I think. I mean, Cal McNair and Hannah McNair, Janice McNair, they get involved. They want to know, but they're going to stay out of Nick Casario's hair and Lovie Smith's hair as it pertains to whatever Lovie's got, as it pertains to draft decisions. But that's one where they probably need to talk about it, because when could they get Ojabo back? Because he's coming off the Achilles. So if it's one of those situations where, hey, do we feel comfortable as an organization taking a guy that's coming off an Achilles injury? Do we feel comfortable doing that even though he's not going to play? Or how do we feel? That's one where you might want to get the input. Maybe not. If you have a pretty good idea, your medical team says, Roland Ramirez and the guys are like, hey, we think we can get him back by this time. Jabo's a heck of a pick at 37. Same with Andrew Booth. I think he had a core injury. And so he had surgery back in January, I believe. Now he's ready for training camp, whereas Ajabo, you don't know. Dean, it sounds like he'll be ready for training camp. So all three of those guys, yes. I'll wait on them if I have to. But Breece Hall, Boy Mafe is the one that people are looking at going, whoa, Boy Mafe. You talk about an athlete. Holy smokes. Now, I knew he's athletic. I didn't watch him at Senior Bowl. I thought, okay, this would be interesting going one-on-one. He dominated one-on-one pass rush drills. Dominated. Inside counters, outside speed, drop, dip, rip, ghost moves. I mean, he was doing everything to get to the quarterback, and nobody could block him. Nobody could block Boy Mafe at all.
All right, we've got some questions from our fans. We had questions earlier for Stingley and for Green, and now we have them for John Harris. Taylor wants to know, what do you think of yesterday's picks, Johnny?
I really liked him. Like I said, I have been a Stingley guy the entire time. I've loved him in 2019. I think he's got the size and everything you have to play that position, to play zone, to play man. I think he's got the temperament to cover a number one wide receiver and travel with him if he has to. I think that's the thing a corner's got to have, and I think he's got a short memory. Get beat, go on the next play.
All right. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to
cut you
out
I
there.
love that. And the Kenyon Green pick, I won't say I saw it coming, but we've talked about the interior offensive line being a need. And Kenyon Green was the best of the interior offensive linemen. And you probably weren't going to draft the center with Linderbaum. Now I had Linderbaum ahead of Green, but Linderbaum's only a center. Justin Britt's here, and they like Justin Britt, so you draft Kenyon Green, you put him in between Britt and Tunsil, and he gets veteran leadership right next to him in between if he goes to left guard, and I think away you go. So I was really happy going home. And, oh, by the way, 3 other draft assets came along with those 2 picks. That's
right.
Nice.
3 more draft assets. We're going to start using that term very, very loosely here in the next 2 days. Adam wants to know, along the lines of an interior guard and running the ball a little bit better, aside from running back, Adam, why do you say it like that? Aside from running back, what position or positions would you like to see the Texans address tonight? I like that Adam just assumes that everyone wants to see a running back. So in addition to running back, Johnny, what other positions do you want to see drafted? Pass rusher, I would assume.
Yeah, edge spot is what I talked about Boy Mafe a little while ago. Now, he played a lot of stand-up 3-4 outside linebacker. Another guy to look at is Arnold Ebikete from Penn State. Really like his ability off the edge. And I think Ebikete could play a little bit more hand down, but I think Mafe could learn how to do it. I think there's some edge rushers that are very intriguing at that spot. Interior offensive lineman's taken care of, so do you look at even more offensive line help? Probably not. I think wide receiver, running back, ball-carrying threats. I'll say it that way. So running back, wide receiver, tight end, however you want to. I mean, what position does Deebo Samuel play? We don't know.
Wide receiver.
We don't know. Well, that's what he
says.
Point being, I think you know how I am about this. I'm very particular because we hear a certain position and we pigeonhole a player into that. And it's like tight end Mike Gesicki with the Miami Dolphins. Like, that's no tight end. Watch him. Tell me when he blocks somebody, and then I'll tell you he's a tight end. So we kind of get lost in that. So that's why I refer to it like that. Ball-carrying weapons, whether they carry it on a handoff, whether they catch it and run with it, whether they're deep threats. There's some true wide receivers. Christian Watson, North Dakota State. He's still out there. Ooh. It just hit me, one of my favorites.
BCW's ball-carrying weapons.
Sky Moore.
Okay.
Western Michigan.
Okay.
He's a fun watch. Oh, my gosh. You look at him and think, well, he's 5'10", 5'11". He's about 190, and he turns dudes like turnstiles. I mean, he is fun to watch. So there's some weapons there.
All right, Daniel wants to know, we're going to end on this question because you got to get your crystal ball out for this one. Are we more likely to trade back or trade up tonight, Johnny? What do you think? I know what my answer is. I think we're going to trade up.
Oh, why'd you steal my answer?
I just feel like
You stole my answer.
we've got all these draft assets,
Yes.
and we're working
Good.
towards a common goal of
Good.
just picking more picks here in the second and the third round, and then we've got all
I think
these
so, too.
fifth and sixth round picks that we can use as draft capital, draft assets.
I
yeah,
think
are we
that.
in agreement on that?
I think that the one thing that I might consider tonight is if I do make trades out of the second and third round, because I've got such a plethora of fourth and fifth round picks, I might want picks next year. Because next year's the draft with all the quarterbacks.
That is a great point.
And having all that ammunition next year with all those quarterbacks to be able to move up and down that board, that if Davis Mills is hitting for you and you're like, hey, I don't have to take any one of these guys, I can move around the board and do even more, but I'll take all the players that teams aren't taking because they're all falling down because everybody wants quarterbacks, you're going to be in a really nice position. So if I'm trading down tonight, I might actually trade out to 2023. So
next
there's trade
year.
down, there's trade up, and there's trade out. I don't mind trading out to next year. I'm cool with that.
Trade up and trade out is what John Harris says. And you can hear
out.
more of him at 6 p.m. on Sports Radio 610 when the draft gets underway. John Harris is going to bring you all the Texans picks. He'll bring you the breakdowns. You can check out HoustonTexans.com as well. And we'll be back on the live show before tomorrow's draft, which kicks off at 11 a.m. John Harris and I will be bringing you the live show. We'll recap tonight's draft and then look ahead to day 3. That'll be tomorrow at 10 a.m. But that's going to do it for Texans Draft Live. Thank you so much to everyone out there watching. Thanks to Tyler Marcotte, who runs this entire program. Special thanks to John Harris. I'm going to cut him loose so he can go do some radio. And for all of you out there watching, thanks so much for following along. And as always, go Texans.
This is a Houston Texan pick. It's not somebody's individual pick. It's our pick. It's our player. We got to embrace him, make the best decision for our team, and just to keep moving forward.
With the third pick, the Houston Texans select
Texans All Access, Sunday night at 11 on ABC 13.